Coach Hilliard, thank you for joining me today. Coach Hilliard is currently the co-defensive coordinator, assistant head coach, and defensive line coach at Virginia Union University. Coach, before we get started, you want to kind of give people a little bit of background about yourself?
Yeah, well, again, thanks for having me. I love to do this. I find it, just a pleasure that just sharing some knowledge, man, and just a little bit about me. I started my coaching career. Well, I started actually my playing career at Elizabeth City State University. It's a Division II school in CIAA conference. And after my career there, I actually went into teaching. I was a teacher for a couple years, and I have respect for teachers because it just wasn't my deal. It was just something that I enjoyed it, but my real passion was coaching. And the head coach at Elizabeth City at the time gave me an opportunity where I was able to work part time and got on there, worked there as the defensive line. Well, I started off with linebackers and worked with defensive line a couple years, and our coordinator at the time, he left and went to Morgan State and got an opportunity to be a full-time coach at Elizabeth City. I think that was in 2009. And from there, I was defense coordinator there for some time until I left. And while at Elizabeth City, I worked with our current head coach at Virginia Union, Coach Parker, or Dr. Parker now. And he had got an opportunity at Virginia Union to be head coach in 2018 and asked me if I wanted to come along. And long story short, I accept that and, been at Virginia Union ever since.
Also, kind of going through your profile before we kind of get into some of the other stuff is you had the opportunity to be in the Bill Walsh minority internship with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I kind of want to know, what were your biggest takeaways from that opportunity that you received? What were you able to bring back to Virginia Union and kind of help implement into your program?
Well, man, I could talk all day just going on and on about that experience. But first, the Pittsburgh Steelers organization is a first-class organization, man. Everything was top-notch. You didn't have to worry about anything. One of my takeaways was I really didn't even need to bring anything. I was outfitted with all like the Pittsburgh Steelers gear and everything. But just learning from Coach Tomlin, he loves to call him Mike T. Just having intensity. He's all about structure and all about organization. And when I got there, I was able to work with their defensive line coach and Coach Dunbar. He was phenomenal, man, and just the drills, just the attention to detail. I think in the NFL, everybody can play. It's not like at our level where you got to try to develop guys and try to scheme up for certain things. Everybody's a dog in the NFL. And just working with those athletes, and Coach Dunbar just paid so much attention to detail. He was so organized, and some of the drills, I actually had his drill tape, and I kind of implemented some of those drills, just some of the terminology that I learned there. But just that whole experience, man, just knowing how the NFL is organized, it's not just about football. I was in the coaches' meetings, like we were real coaches. Like I know it was an internship, but we were real coaches. We had to make decisions on. I actually seen guys get cut. You watch the series on HBO, Hard Knocks, and you see the Turk and the guys getting. Well, I was a part of that whole situation where we had to cut a guy and bring a guy in right away just to see if he would make the roster. So just that whole experience was it was phenomenal, man. And the biggest takeaway is just being organized. And one thing Coach Dunbar told me and you guys saw in my drill tape that I did for you, make sure that you're teaching all of these drills, but show how they work in the actual game. You can teach and teach and teach, but people want to see you and how good you are, and you show them by the film. So that's why I try to do with my drill tape, show you the drills and show how they're actually executing in the game. And that's one of the biggest things that I took from that internship and made a lot of relationships. So a lot of those guys I still talk to. the interns and some of the players on their staff. So and some of the staff members. So it was just an awesome experience, man.
Awesome, coach. And kind of continuing on, let's start with, when your staff arrived at Virginia Union, your head coach, you guys had very immediate success. You were the number one scoring defense that first year. You were named AFCA's Division II Assistant of the Year. What would you attribute to that early instant success you guys had there?
Well, Dr. Parker had a plan, and let me go back and say that we had some really good pieces when we got there. Coach James, the previous coach at Virginia Union, did a great job with recruiting. We actually, when I was at Elizabeth City, Virginia Union's in the conference, so we've actually played against Virginia Union, and I always thought they had the athletes. They just couldn't get over that hump, but that was the thing in the conference. They got players, and Dr. Parker had a vision. He put a great staff together, and he just, we pretty much used the same manual that we used at Elizabeth City. We weren't that great at first, and it's just hard work, just going in, recruiting, having a great practice structure, having some good coaches that can implement that plan, and we'll see where it lays. And and a bit of luck. You're a coach too. You get lucky. Some of those games, you pull out. You're like, man, oh, we won that game. So you mix all those in a bowl, and we were able to have some success. But I think Dr. Parker had a great plan for us going in. We had a great staff, and we had some good student athletes, man. And I think that was all put those all together, and that's what equaled that first year success for us.
That's fantastic, Coach. Kind of continuing, I kind of want to get in, and this is one of the things I've been very curious with college coaches is what is your game week look like in terms of prep and scouting for each opponent? When does that start? And then kind of how do you handle that? And then how do you divvy assignments to your staff?
So, and this is part of but I'm gonna tell you guys in my interview, but this was part of my presentation. Just the organization and implement and planning of a practice week. But so we'll get started. Just for us defensively, the first things first is we get the film from the opponent. We try to during the season, preseason, we want to try to get our first 3 games of opponent film so we can break down. And Huddle has the thing now where they able to chart down the distance and stuff, but we do that ourselves. Our coaches, everybody has a tag where we're implementing down the distance formations and getting those things together. And once we do that, we're seeing some tendencies. We're seeing what they're doing on first down. Run past what they like to do, whether it be in we have different zones in the green zone, coming out the yellow zone and the red zone. So what type of tendencies can you get from that second down, third down, and so on and so forth. So we start, breaking down those tendencies and kind of formulating our game plan depending on who we have. Personnel is going to dictate what you'll be able to do and how successful you'll be at it when you're starting to develop that game plan. So for us, that starts immediately after the game. Of course, we play on Saturdays. But that starts immediately. So Sunday we're in, we're getting the breakdowns. We're seeing, again, another thing on Sunday too, we also have to break down the previous game, that we played on that Saturday. But that starts Saturday night for me immediately. But, most guys have their breakdown and grades by that Sunday before our coaches meeting. So once we do that, Sunday is our big day where we're getting the film working, we're making corrections, we're getting that film in, we're getting that data put in. Monday is also a work day for us where we're able to, just get some more tendencies. We're breaking down, we're watching the runs, and this is a defensive staff meeting. So we're watching all their runs, all their first down runs, all their second down runs, so on. Then we'll go in, we'll have lunch. Then the second part of the day, watching all the passes, just trying to get a feel for how they're trying to attack us and what we can do to try to attack them. Tuesday, we're scripting out I know for us, runs, their top runs. We have a script, and again, I would explain this. You guys get a chance to see this. This will be part of my presentation, but we're scripting out all the runs. Our DB coaches are scripting out the pass. They're scripting out the 7-on-7. We have a 7-on-7 period, a team period where they're scripting all those things out. During the day on Tuesdays, we have those individual meetings where we're installing pretty much what our game plan would be for that week for those guys. So they'll know, how we want to attack this team through the week. We'll practice later on that evening, go in, watch film with the guys. They get the scout report on, this is the team. And Wednesday we'll do situations, still scripting. Those run pass plays for me as a coordinator, when we're scripting, you kind of see, you have your pen out there, and you might call something to this formation, and it didn't go quite as well. So you start at them like, let's see if, this works with that. So that's kind of, in my mind as a coordinator, that's kind of what you're trying to see. Okay, how comfortable are my guys with this? Or, did this work out? I like this call, or, it's a chess match. So you're just trying to put everything together. We're heavy with our special teams. Special teams is something that's been big for us. Another part, I know, just going back to the previous question, what made us so good in our first year, I think our special teams were, awesome. And I think that's another thing that, me want to be a head coach, that you got to put a lot of emphasis on. I know a lot of guys don't. They just say, it's special teams. No, that is an intricate part of the game, and that's something that you have to put real detail in if you want to be good. So we do that. Go over those special situations. Wednesday, Thursday is kind of our cleanup day. Friday is we just have a script where we walk through special situations. We just give them a game script. And on Saturday, we put all together. It's our test. One of my coaches I worked with before said, it's like a test. You prepare all week, and the test is on Saturday. Your test is just around 3,000, 5,000 people watching, and so that's kind of what it is. You study, and then it's the test on Saturday. So that's kind of how we do it. Again, like I said, I got a PowerPoint just explaining how I'm scripting. I know guys are going to have questions, so it'll be real detailed on how we scripting and just our periods, or how we go about just practice. And when we meet as a staff, we're talking about these things, man. We detail the week before. We've already prepared practice for that week. So if we're playing an opponent, we already got our script for practice. Mondays are going to be, we're off Monday because the NCAA, you have to have a day off. But Tuesdays, let me get that. Hold on. We're off on Mondays. The coaches working, but not the players. They're off. But we've already scripted out the week of practice. So it's just a well-oiled machine. And that's, again, credit to Coach Parker, just charging us with, look, let's get this thing organized. Let's make sure practice is detailed. We're getting what we need out of practice, and we're not wasting a lot of time, because at our level, these guys have classes. So you don't have time to just rep. No, we got a period. It's 10 reps. You better get what you need, coach. We need everybody there is done, because we can't spend a lot of time, on this one phase of practice. So that's why everything is so charted out and so detailed that once we hit it, we got to hit it.
Awesome, Coach. I got before we start wrapping up, I got two more questions, two more main questions for you. One, after obviously all of us having to use technology, does it kind of different way to install and make changes and adjust to these unfortunate times? For you and kind of your staff, is how do you think you will carry over some of this stuff going into the future? Are you going to continue to use technology the way you are? Are you going to kind of continue to expand it? Or, I mean, in an ideal world, are you going to try to go back to kind of pre-COVID?
Well, anybody who knows me, I like to say I was the starter of this. With my staff, before COVID was really a deal. I had put my staff on the Zoom. Now I know they're gonna listen to this, but no, it's something that we were doing anyway. We had our we have a digital playbook where the guys can look at it. I think with our meetings, it's something that's here to stay, of course. I think it's something that we're moving to. It's something that I've done for my guys. I think right now a lot of the coaches are using social media messaging apps with their guys, but the Zoom is just open it up to where now we could really see our guys face to face. And I think it's something that's going to be utilized going forward. And I think it's something that's neat, that ultimately, like, you still getting work done. And I think that's the charge, where we're able to still get work and still be safe. So I think for us and our staff, it's something that we're going to utilize going forward.
Awesome, Coach. And coming before I get to my last question, you kind of made me think of something there. You mentioned digital playbooks. Do you guys give out hard copies anymore, or is it all digital even before this?
Well, and this was an argument with our staff when we first came in. I'm more of a playbook, traditional handout type guy. But you got to know your student athletes. Like, Coach, you're a coach. You got to know your kids, man. You give them a hard playbook, what are they going to do with it? They're probably going to back there in that bookshelf, like you got in the background. Like, so they're on their phones all the time. And it's something that, if it's digital, they're at least able to see it's accessible right now. They're not going to walk around with a hard playbook. And so we kind of moved into having the playbook digital. It's something that I think, even with our scout reports, we don't give out hard paper. One, cut costs. We don't have to print out. I mean, we got 50 guys on defense. So you're talking about 100 pages, Coach. That's just a lot of money, a lot of time every week. We got at least 10 weeks, print out that much paper, and it's just a lot going on. And, for us, we're trying to always minimize costs. So that was one measure that, works. And I think it's better for the student athlete, because now they're always on their phones, and it's something that they'll be able to just pull up right away. So it works. I'm traditional. I like a playbook, but I'm with the digital age as well. So.
All right, Coach. And I kind of got a curious question for you is, what have you researched this offseason to help improve your program? And then out of curiosity, who do you reach out to or go to improve your program?
That's a great question, man. One of the things I've done this summer, I try to do a clinic, man. I get my knowledge from everybody: high school coaches, college coaches, NFL coaches. The good thing, I usually do some type of professional development every summer. This year, I was on a Zoom call. I've been on a couple different Zoom calls where I was with Eric Bieniemy of the Kansas City Chiefs, and he just was showing, just be ready when your time comes, and just letting the young coaches know, like, everybody talks about opportunity. Well, when you get that opportunity, be ready when it comes. And, you got to keep grinding. Also was on a call with another head coach saying that, hell, he had been an assistant for 30 years until he became the head coach. He's at North Carolina A&T right now, the head coach, Coach Washington there. And he was just saying, like, you never know when it's your time, but you got to be ready. So for me, the next level or the next step for me is just to be a head coach. So just listening to those guys, I've been on a lot of Zoom calls. As far as scheme-wise, again, I've been on Zoom calls pretty much because that's all you could do. I got a guy down at Ole Miss, defensive line coach. He's sharp, man. That's somebody who, I like, that I lean on. Even one of my guys, my mentor, my coordinator at Elizabeth City, he's a guy that, I always call just to shoot questions by him, just to see So it's a couple different guys, but mainly Zoom for me. Just trying to, hone my craft and just trying to get some professional development in for me. And like I said, it's been a blessing. Of course, I know people want to look at it where it's COVID and it's it's a downer, but it gives you a chance to refocus. I've had a chance to be with my family, be home, work out more. So it's been good for me, man. Definitely.
Well, Coach, I thank you. I hope you, your family, stay safe, stay healthy. And for anybody who wants to know more about Coach, his information will be in the bio. He will also, by the time end of July wraps up, we will have 3 telepresentations from Coach. The first 2 he's already filmed were fantastic, and we'll get this 3rd one here. He kind of sneak peeked earlier. But Coach, again, thank you, and I hope you and your family stay healthy.
I appreciate it, man. Same to you. Thank you.